Alrighty then. Yo, welcome to Living for a Living, episode 102, boy.
Living for a living, baby. How you doing?
Alrighty then. This episode, as always, is brought to you by myself at livingforaliving.live. I'm going to do something regarding what's going on in Ukraine right now, and all profits will be donated to the freedom fighters, which I know isn't probably going to do as much as posting the Ukrainian flag into my profile picture, but it's all I can do, you know. And given the normal amount of purchases we get per week, we can probably send them 3 bullets. So, no, I figure I'd do something. I've been trying to somewhat stay updated with what's going on and look into it, and right now it's just a weird time. I guess, well, let me backtrack a little. I got a couple new things on the website also. Got the long drink long sleeve, which I'm rocking right now, which should be a good hit in Finland. And then another one that was inspired by the potential of war that I thought about maybe like 2 months ago, that I don't even have I don't have even a sample of it yet. It's on the way, but I got a Conflict Creates Currency crew neck, and call me a wizard who was seeing into the future, but I just had a feeling that was going to be something to come out with because, you know, I guess I have a lot of feelings. I'm going to try and stick to the script. I'm not saying I know much about what's going on. I've been trying to educate myself a little bit more through YouTube and other social media. Like, that's what's cool about TikTok right now, and just social media in general, but TikTok, because it's so quick, and with the live videos, like, you can stay rather up to date, you know, way more so than the news, actually. So, yeah, I'm kind of all over the place right now, and I'm going to try and, I guess this one, I thought I was getting pretty funny on last episode. I don't know. We'll see if this is fun. It's, you know, it's not obviously a fun topic or a funny topic, but I think keeping humor in the face of adversity and tragedy and things like that is necessary and special. And I just finished watching the Tim Dillon episode from this week, and at the very end he had on this Ukrainian guy, comedian there, who's like talking about trying to buy guns and all that stuff, and that's actually where the money will go, if I make anything, is to this guy, because here's this kid who is, I think he's like 24, I don't know. He's in a bunker in the capital of Ukraine, gearing up to defend the city, and on the podcast talking with Tim and making jokes and laughing and having a good time. And it just, I don't know, that shit made me feel good, which isn't really that important, but it was just nice to see that this guy is like literally prepared to die for his country, and yet still making jokes about sending Tim naked pictures and stuff like that. And so I don't know, it was cool. And that's like the nice thing about social media right now, with a war that's going on. This is kind of the first war where we've truly had social media. I mean, I know we've been at war in the Middle East for the last 20 years or so, but when it's in a Western, well, I guess I shouldn't say that loudly, but a Western, almost Western country like Ukraine, that's much closer to the rest of the Western world, it seems much more real. and people care about it much more. Because I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna explain all my thoughts about what's going on here, or what's going on now, and I'm no expert. I've watched an 1.5-hour YouTube video of an American political science guy who could be an expert. But sometimes experts don't know shit if we've learned anything over the last 2 years. So I'm not going to try and pretend like I really know what's going on. Just all my feelings. And I think maybe at times I'll sound slightly insensitive. But the reason I'm saying that is because, you know, the U.S. has been involved in quote unquote war in Iraq, Afghanistan, the Middle East, for Yemen, for 20 years, 25 years. And did I really care? I mean, I thought it was bad. I wasn't proud of it, a little ashamed of it. But I wasn't like, I mean, it didn't ever lead me to donate all profits from a thing. So, you know, like, I don't want to be too hypocritical, even though I know I'm already going to be a little hypocritical by caring more about this one. And maybe I'm just in my own head, and it's like, fuck hypocrisy, like there's people in trouble, and I don't know, I just find the outrage over this from a lot of people, like American people especially, to just be so like phony in a way. And not necessarily they're phony, but they're just doing it because it's like what they think they should be doing. And then they're just going to go back to their normal fucking lives where they don't care about whatever's going on. And I'm not saying you got to drop everything and go over there and fight for them or anything, but it's just kind of the, you know, the whole posting a Ukrainian flag in your profile picture just gives me very much so the vibe of posting a black square to end racism. It's like, it's more of like this, like, see, I care, like I'm a good person, and then they can just put it off and go back to doing things. And so that's like why the idea of donating everything of the profits for as long as this shit goes on. I don't make too much money from it anyway, so I don't rely on that income by any means. Thank God. I would be fucking starving if that was the case. So I was like, well, fuck it. I don't really need that money. And I'm going to talk shit about people being hypocrites, so let me fucking do something about it. So that's kind of where that idea, and then seeing that interview with the kid from Ukraine on Tim Dillon, you know, it's like, I don't truly believe in like donating to charities because a lot of them are so fucked up, and only a certain percentage goes to that, and you never really know where your money's going. But after seeing that guy on Tim Dillon's podcast, he included some links, and like, I'll donate personally to that guy, because that guy's literally, he says, we're trying to buy snipers, we're trying to buy guns and helmets and vests and all these things in order to fight off the Russians. And so, yeah, I'm getting kind of all over the place, and yeah, so that's kind of the reasoning behind what I'm thinking and saying and doing. Obviously, though, I have to admit, it's then this, we're all so selfish, and myself included, because here I am, it's like, I'm kind of still trying to take advantage of this situation and use the fact that I'm donating the profits to help spread the brand. You know, like, that's not lost on me and on my conscience, but it is what it is. And it's going to help whatever. But that's like the whole point that bugs me with the flag post and the profile picture and fucking lighting up towers and buildings with blue and yellow lights, is it's just so virtue signaling that shit just bugs me, because ultimately I don't think that thing has any effect on real life at all. It's just to make the person, the organization, whoever, feel better about doing it. And I guess I could be part of that, but at the end of the day, money fucking talks. So if I can send some money, it might not be the same impact as a flag in the profile picture, but it is. And then just seeing other people's posts and all these things regarding the situation in Ukraine, and it always like at the end of the message, at the the main idea behind the message is always like, well, I did this, or like it's all so selfish. And that's okay, but I just hate that it gets paraded as like, no, I'm selfless, but I'm doing this. And so I don't know. There's some internal shit in my head regarding that maybe I can't verbalize completely. So yeah, it's just also then interesting to me. I'm going to, I guess, get all the hypocrisy shit out of the way before then I actually say what my thoughts are. I guess these are my thoughts. But then to hear kind of some hypocrisy from Europeans and or Americans also that are like, well, why isn't America doing anything? And why aren't we blah, blah, blah? Which I'm torn on what this situation is really weird and is a complex issue all around. And so I don't have the fucking answers, that's for sure. But to hear some of these people say, well, they have to step in and they have to do this and they have to do that. And then on the flip side, I know those same people are always talking shit about, well, why does America spend so much on the military? And why do you guys need that? You guys can't have health care. And it's like, yeah, when shit isn't hitting the fan, it's an issue that we do that. But then as soon as shit hits the fan, you're the first one to say like, well, why aren't you helping? You should help. It's like, it just the hypocrisy in it bugs me. And I just see a lot of hypocrisy in general, especially the last few years, from people's thoughts and ideas. And I mean, I'm sure I'm hypocritical. I if I thought hard enough about it, I'm sure I could find some things that I'm a hypocrite about. I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, but it's just some of those things that I don't know. I don't know. There's not a right answer, I guess. But to kind of get into some of my thoughts more and more, 15 minutes into already talking, starting off, like, obviously I feel bad about for everyone involved, whether it be the Ukrainians that are defending their shit, the innocent lives that are being lost, but I also, to a degree, I have compassion and empathy for the Russian people that are dying too, Russian soldiers, because you don't know for sure that they even knew what they were getting themselves into. And I'm not going to sit here and try to defend them at all and make excuses for them at all, because it's fucked up. Invading another country and doing all that shit is fucked up. But unfortunately, it's kind of how the world works. And it's like this at our core humankind thing of conquering the world. And again, I don't know what Russia's motives technically even are. That's where I struggle a little bit, is the logic in it doesn't make any sense. And according to some people I hear, Putin could be a little bit crazy in this, and so maybe looking for something logical is illogical in a sense like this, because there isn't any logic. But I don't know, in the same way that, I don't necessarily agree with what the U.S. has been doing in the Middle East and have compassion for the innocent people that have died in drone strikes by the U.S. I also feel compassion and empathy for the soldiers that have died in that, because most of them didn't go over to Afghanistan thinking it was going to be what they ended up doing. most everybody that I've ever talked to throughout my life that's had experience in the Middle East comes back, and the overall arching theme was like, that shit was fucked up, and like we shouldn't have been doing that, and that isn't what I signed up for, more or less. And I'm sure someone would disagree with that. That's okay. And so I feel compassion, I guess, for everyone. Like it's this. I want to try and keep some level of humanity in myself, and in one way to like feel compassion for one side, but then wishing death upon another side is like bad. I'm on the Ukrainian side of like, I think it's fucked up with what Russia is doing ultimately. But I don't know. I just always am trying to not get emotional over this shit and try and see the big picture. And maybe I'm wrong for that. I don't know. And, and in that same regard is like, I feel bad for the Russian citizens then that disagree with the war, because right now there's an incredible amount of anti-Russian slander going on. And there's probably a big portion of Russian people that don't agree with what's going on. I mean, I've seen it on TikToks of the protests in St. Petersburg and those kind of things, and people are getting arrested left and right over there. And so it's again, I just trying to put myself in other people's shoes, and as an American, it's somewhat comparable in a way, because people will like, I wouldn't want someone to judge me for what we've done in the Middle East and what the U.S. military has done over decades, because I didn't agree with it. And so I wouldn't want someone to hate me for that shit just because of my allegiance or my affiliation with the U.S. You know what I'm saying? So it's just trying to have some understanding at the end of the day. And something that is definitely interesting, though, is from what I've seen and read, is like Russia, they've spent a lot of money on military in the recent history. But more so even than that, they've spent even more on internal policing. And so that's like a scary combination in combination with the dictatorship, because that equals silencing, that equals, that's like some 1984 type of shit where like you disagree with the government, you just go away. And so I feel I have compassion. I feel sorry for everybody fucking involved in this situation. I just want to make that kind of clear from the jump. Just to kind of go back a little bit of like, with everything that goes on, whether it's football, my life, relationship, any interactions, I'm curious about the why. And I try and think about why shit is the way it is. And so I'm like, well, why is Russia doing this? What is the reasoning? And at first it was, this is where things don't add up in a way, because at first it was announced or said that they were going in to peacekeep for the so-called independent territories of Ukraine that wanted to break off. And they were then supporting them in that. And so that was kind of like the first little thing that got talked about it. And then it went into, real quickly, the whole NATO thing. And so it's just like, well, what one is it? Because if you're, and listen, people have lied in amidst wars going like throughout history. It's like, it's funny to me when people will be like, well, he's lying about that. It's like, yeah. What's the fucking say? All's fair in love and war. Like, you expect, he's going to tell the truth of exactly his intentions all the time. It's like, no, that's not how it fucking works. And so, but those two things don't add, because, and maybe I haven't heard any of this. Have we talked to Russia? Like, do we know what they want? I mean, I guess they did come out with a list of demands that seemed pretty unreasonable, relatively speaking, although the U.S. kind of has already had the exact same amount of demands already met. So it's like these weird little comparisons. Like, sorry if I'm jumping around and this is tough. It's a lot going on in my mind of like points I'd like to talk about and hit. But to start, if the Donbass, I think I'm saying that right, region, and there's the one other region in Ukraine that wants to be independent. And that isn't a rare thing it's not common, but for example, like when I lived in Barcelona, the region of Catalonia, if you talk to a guy that's Catalan, he would say, I'm Catalan. I'm not Spanish. They have their own language. They have their own culture. They have their own history. I think it's actually similar in like Basque country in Spain up north as well. And so like the idea, Catalonia has wanted to break off from Spain for years. I don't think it'll ever happen, but they've been wanting to do it for years. And so like the idea then of the Ukrainian side wanting to do that, that region wanting to, isn't some crazy idea or crazy concept that is only unique to that region. It happens. And so, in my mind, the way my logic works is like, okay, if the invasion started because of that, and that's what they wanted, part of me is like, well, negotiate and maybe give them that to stop it from further happening, and I think that's kind of been proven to be bullshit and not the reason for invasion. But that was like my thoughts a week ago, was like, well, if that's really what they're saying they're doing, like, let's put it to the test. And if this region that doesn't really want to be associated with Ukraine, why would you fight to keep them if the people there don't even really want to be there? It creates a little bit of a slippery slope. I understand that, but that was just kind of my thinking. And then the whole like NATO thing is, Russia says that by having border states, border countries that are in NATO, like it's threatening for them. And I get that. Like, I understand their point of view because, I mean, if roles were reversed and Russia had military being set up on the borders of Canada or even or Mexico, or whatever. My Central American geography isn't very good, but like even if it was like one country then below Mexico and Russia with Panama, maybe, I don't know, was gearing up military there, like the US wouldn't let that shit fly at all. And we would put a stop to that real fucking quick. I mean, the Monroe Doctrine is set up that basically we are the military power in the Western Hemisphere. And like that's built into that doctrine. So, I can understand why Russia doesn't want that, because if the roles were reversed, think about the Cuban Missile Crisis, like the US would flip their shit and they would stop that real fucking quick. So, like, I get that, but then there's kind of some weird things that don't add up, because it's like Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania are all in NATO, which they border Russia as well. And so the argument behind, well, we don't want someone with the shared borders to be in NATO, like we want this buffer zone. That's a big reason why Finland doesn't join NATO, is because of that whole thing. Like, okay, but it doesn't like fully add up, at least. And then there would be the argument I've heard is like, well, NATO is strictly a defensive organization, and that's what it's built upon and that kind of thing. And in theory, yes, but people in Serbia would probably disagree with you, given the bombings in 1999 that went on during the Kosovo War, which I remember. Like I've visited Belgrade twice, and through those experiences, talked with some Serbian dudes, and like that shit's not lost on them at all. And so they definitely look at NATO in a different light than maybe the rest of the world or other countries do. And that's understandable, because at the end of the day, your experience shapes your perception. And so if your country was then bombed for, I think, 7-8 months, hold on, I got it written right. From March to June. Okay, March, April, May, June. 3-4 months. If that was the case, then yeah, you'd probably think of it a little bit differently. And so at the head, yeah, NATO is this defensive pact that's there to kind of keep the peace. They also don't have a pristine track record. And it's fucked up in my opinion, the leadership in general of this whole NATO, Ukraine joining NATO thing is fucked up, because from the Ukraine side, it probably wasn't the best idea to like announce it and publicize it and talk about it openly. Also, then it was stupid probably from NATO's side to like kind of like throw the line out there with the big ass worm and talk about it and discuss it. And so it's like dumb from Ukraine's side to do all that without having confirmation of being able to join and knowing that you have the backup, and then it looks really bad for NATO right now, because now the reason for the invasion is the whole NATO discussions and talks and like making sure that doesn't happen. And so you're the reason that they're getting invaded, essentially, but then you're not helping. So it's like this ultimate, like, we fucked you kind of thing. And maybe Russia would have done it already. I don't know. But then to go back to the Serbian bombings during the Kosovo War is like the NATO is saying now that the reason they're not helping and not stepping in is because Ukraine isn't a part of them, and they don't kind of want to ruffle Russia's feathers or anything like that. But if you look back at that time and when they did the airstrikes in Serbia, that wasn't the case either. Serbia wasn't a part of NATO or Yugoslavia at the time. And actually, I Wikipedia'd it before we did this, and it says like that NATO actually, where is it? Yeah, as a result, NATO launched its campaign without the UN's approval, stating that it was a humanitarian intervention. So it's just interesting. You go back to the hypocrisy of things to see how things have been handled on one side and in one situation. And obviously not everything is the same, and you handle different situations differently. But it's interesting, I guess, when you do look at the big picture of things. And I think that gets lost with everything, is we hyper focus on one little instance and one situation, and then let ourselves get incredibly emotional about it, that we lose track of like, well, this has happened in the past. How does this affect the bigger picture? What'll be the result of this 3, 4, 5 years down the road? I know some people in Finland are worried about the situation because some of the Finnish people I've talked to say, well, like, Ukraine could just easily be Finland, where they're invading and getting no support or no help from anybody else. And that's true, and I understand that. And that's a scary situation. And so I understand, again, I'm 3 hours from St. Petersburg, where I live right now, I think. Yeah, maybe even closer. So I get that, and that does cause concern. It's just, again, I don't know the right way to say it, and it doesn't justify it, but it's like the idea of countries trying to conquer each other has always been going on. And I wish we could get to a point in the world and be progressive enough that that doesn't happen. But I think it's just a little naive to think, well, we're just going to, and I'm saying majority of people are cool with living in their country. You probably poll a majority of people all over the world, no one wants to go to war. But it's then the people in power that end up doing it. And so I should restate what I said is it's the people in power that's just for whatever reason, part of the thing. And the political scientist that I was listening to on YouTube explained we're in an interesting time right now, because for a majority of the last 50 years, 60 years, which has arguably been the most peaceful time in the world ever in history, there's been a unipole, meaning only one, the U.S. has been the power of the world. And now with emergence of Russia, but more importantly, the emergence of China, it's not this same power structure that's going on. And so when there's only one power of the world, it makes things a little bit easier and a little bit more peaceful, because nobody really wants to fuck with that one power, and there's not really a dick measuring contest that's ever going on. But then as more and more powers come into play, if it's 2 or 3 or whatever, naturally, because of what I've said with the leaders and humankind, historically, this competition arises, and almost not even competition, then fear of the other side taking them over arises. And so you almost then become offensive in your attempt to be defensive. I don't know if that actually even made sense, but it makes sense in my mind. And so it's just, I don't know where we go exactly from here. It's crazy to see, as I started this whole thing, it's crazy to see all of this kind of happening in real time on social media. We've never really had this kind of experience. I think in general, war in the future is going to be much more difficult to do because of social media and allowing other people from other places to connect and just even see each other doing similar things that they do makes you see them more as humans, where I think in the past it was much easier to say oh, the Russians are fucking bad people, or the Americans, or whoever, you could really make your enemies into the devil because no one really fucking knew. And so it seems a lot harder now for a major war like that to take place with the social media climate that we have. But on the flip side, because of it's always good. There's always good and bad sides to it, because even though now we have much more information at our fingertips, we can literally see live videos of battles going on and the attacks happening and videos like that. And we can then connect with other people, is in the whole now age of misinformation and disinformation. The same things that can be used to connect us and bring us together, it can also be used to manipulate us and turn us against each other. And so, whether it be, I've seen it, someone talking about it on Twitter or TikTok, is like some of the videos that they're showing, live videos, aren't even from Ukraine, and I don't get what the whole point of it is. Like, unfortunately, the last 2 years have made me incredibly skeptical of anything I see on the internet and anything I hear, and especially in the media. I was already skeptical, incredibly skeptical of the media, but even so much on the internet, whether I kind of try and take everything with a grain of salt and not get too emotionally invested in it, because at the end of the day, you kind of don't know if it's true or not. And so, I'm just trying to see both sides and see the bigger picture in everything, and knowing that, like, yeah, it's like really cool that all of it can connect us, but it's also like a little scary at times because you don't know what's fully true. And yeah, but like the best thing so far that I've seen because of social media given this time was the interview Tim Dillon did with, his name was Vladislav, Ukrainian comedian. I bet he was 25 years old, who had just randomly messaged the producer of the show. And I would highly, highly recommend watching that. It was like an ultimate bright spot in somewhat of a dark day and dark situation of everything that's going on. But it made me feel good to see someone who's like in the shit, and who's in the shit, like explaining his side of things. And in the same regard, like, it'd be really interesting to me to hear, like, from people in Russia, like normal Russian citizens, or even a soldier in Russia, just like having the conversations and hearing different people's points of view is just so incredibly important. And then making judgments off of those things rather than just snap judgments and letting preconceived notions take effect. Tim Dillon also does like a really, really good job of being funny about and making jokes about shit that you probably shouldn't joke about, but that are fucking hilarious. So no, I would just, the whole episode wasn't great compared to what I normally like from Tim Dillon, but the last 30 minutes of it was fucking good. I highly recommend that. Again, here I am plugging Tim, who has 1 million people listening to him every week. I think that's kind of it regarding my thoughts on all of that. I don't know. I'm sure it'll change as time goes on. I hope it changes. If you constantly think the same thing over and over again, presented new information, that's a little scary. It feels weird to like pivot from talking about something incredibly serious like that into like, well, here's some stupid shit that I've noticed. Here's, but I guess, I don't know, it is what it is. In some more incredibly important news, I hit 50,000 followers and got 1 million likes on TikTok. So I don't know why they haven't talked about that on the news yet. And that shit's like pretty crazy to me, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know if I can keep going with this episode. But fuck, it's like, I just know that this is going to be this Ukraine thing is going to be the main issue for I don't know how long, that unfortunately there's always going to be a new update on it, that it's going to become the new COVID. That's I didn't realize that in order to stop COVID, all we had to do was invade Ukraine. Who knew? Who knew? The remedy to COVID was the invasion of Ukraine. Because I look on social media and I look on Twitter and all that stuff now, which the timeline just used to be every other thing, something related to COVID. That shit's gone. Doesn't even exist anymore in some people's minds. It's just, and again, it's all social media. And fuck, no, I don't even, I was going to say, and it's a good thing. We needed to be done with COVID, but it's fucking unfortunate as hell that then the next thing to walk through the door for us to hyper focus on is now a war. It has to be something where people are dying again. Like, I know good news doesn't sell well, but fuck, man, I miss the days when Trump was president and the headlines was just some stupid shit that he said every day, because nobody was dying, at least. Like, I would kill for that to happen again. Because ultimately it would be much less lives being lost. When Trump was in office, the media just had their rounds. It was just, oh, well, what stupid shit did he say today? Oh, grab him by the pussy. Oh, all Mexicans are rapists. All, like, whatever, like, quote he could make. The China flu, the fucking, whatever it was. It was just what he said, though. And now for the last 2 years, it's always been about death and dying and there being conflict amongst people and grandma killers and this and that and anti-vaxxers, pro-vax, and now it's going into war type of things. And it's like, fuck, man. Fuck. Like, well, I'm glad the COVID shit's over. Like, I guess it was going to take something major in order to get it out of the news. I used to joke that I thought, the next step was aliens were going to come, because that would be the only thing, I guess, besides war. War, famine, and aliens are like the three things that trump each other. Like, going back and listening to Trump talk shit is bad news now. It doesn't even compare to war and famine and soon. So I know now, in a way of a joke, like the next step has to be aliens. Once the Ukrainian situation dies down, whenever it may be, unless there's a new pandemic, I could see that happening. But just going back to an idiot politician, that's child's play now, man. I mean, the next election for the U.S. will be in 2024, so that's another 2 years. Yeah, they could have the Ukraine, this thing go on for another 2 years. I fucking hope not. And then politicians will get its little play. I don't know, man. I don't know. But on the COVID note, it's like, see, even I just have to fucking talk about it, bro. Even though we got a new thing to take over our minds, I'm not done. I still got shit to get out. Like, by today is February 27th. So in like 2 days, it'll be March 1st. And pretty much all of the restrictions will be lifted here in Finland. And masks have never been required here the entire time I've been here. And you still go into the store and see like probably more than 50% wearing the mask. And I see people still walking down the street alone. Like, I'll be in my little alleyway smoking a cigarette, and there'll be someone walking down the alley, like, nobody around, masked up. And I'm just like, what? And so I just wonder, like, how long are people going to wear masks? Like, at this point, I think some people, it's just embedded and ingrained in their head, like that's what they do. You know, I still see people standing outside of the store, like gearing up to go in the store with the mask on, and it's like, haven't you seen the news? This is over. We got the Ukrainian thing to work. There's no more COVID. I just, at what point does it stop? And for maybe some, it never will stop. You know, there's certain leaders and I don't know who, senators or whatever. I've seen articles in American media that's like, why we need masks and social distancing forever. It's like, oh boy, that's a problem. That's an issue. I mean, and then also this week I listened to the what's his name? Majid. I listened to I said his name right. Majid Navas. His Joe Rogan one is wild. This dude was like a former Islamist, counter-extremist activist, former Islamist turned counter-extremist activist. And his stories are crazy, and he talks about some of the ways it appears the world is going. And it's a little scary, man. You know, it's a little bit scary, as I've seen talking about just on Twitter, that there's still, at this point, people are still talking about a global Vax Pass app. And while a lot of countries are just getting rid of it completely, there's still people and still things in the air about like a global Vax Pass thing. You see on TikTok lives, people say vaccines should be mandatory. And I'll comment on those ones like, bro, get a fucking life. Like, get a hobby. This shit is over. Like, what are you even arguing at this point? Like, it's just crazy. And you go into it and you see like 1,000 people listening to two fucking idiots talk to each other. It's like, if you're investing time on TikTok live debates between people that have no fucking clue what they're talking about, you're a fucking idiot, bro. Like, get a different hobby. I understand it's kind of like a new Jerry Springer in a way. And I guess I watched Jerry Springer when I was like 14 and home from school sick. But dude, there's just so much, like, the thing that's fucked up about it is some of the people that are watching are like genuinely trying to learn something. And it's just like the furthest way to accurately learn something. Like, use that intention of wanting to learn, of like looking up a fucking YouTube video of someone who actually knows what the fuck they're talking about, rather than listening to some 19-year-old kid spout off and regurgitate everything he's heard from CNN or Fox News or whatever side he's trying to make it happen. And maybe some people are just watching it for pure entertainment, like I said, like a Jerry Springer type of thing. But I know some people are watching that shit for like, oh, I'm going to learn something. Yes, bro. Good stat quote. Yeah, good job. It's like, dude, what the fuck? All right, well, I've pivoted a little bit from something serious to getting into talking about shit that doesn't matter. So on that same note, I watched Euphoria this week. Holy smokes. I hate to say it, but that is such a good fucking show. Wow. Oh, new episode's on tonight, actually. Season 2 finale. I feel like a teenage girl, although that is not a show teenage girls should watch. And it is kind of weird. Like, I heard people talking about the show for last year or two, whatever, how long it's been out. And it like saying how it's weird that it's a show about teenage girls and teenagers in general, like having sex and doing drugs. And is it creepy then for people to be watching that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure for some people and creepy motherfuckers watching it, like, it is a little weird. But I don't feel like many people are watching it for like that reason of like, oh yeah, I get to see this 16-year-old trans girl hook up with a grown man kind of, like, fuck, I hope not at least. But what intrigues me about it is seeing just the high school life. It just becomes incredibly nostalgic for myself. While I would say my high school career was a little bit crazy compared to the show, wasn't crazy at all. But just it makes you kind of reminisce and think back to those times and see it. You kind of get to like relive, and I'm sure a lot of people that well, the reason I like it is you see something that happens in the show and you're like, damn, it was like that. It was, oh yeah. And I really like the show because normally when I watch some series or a movie or whatever, you tend to identify with one character and you see yourself as one specific character. And with this show, I kind of like, you kind of see yourself in a lot of them in a way, at least for me. I don't like, because maybe a majority of the characters are girls, I don't necessarily identify with one of them specifically because they have a completely different experience than I did. But there's little like bits and pieces. It's like Rue is like the main character, the Zendaya girl, who's like a drug addict and like super depressed, and like I can relate and like identify with her from the not as serious at all, but just there's certain little like monologues she has, whether she talks about depression or whether she talks about like drugs and stuff like that. And I've never, I've only really smoked weed a lot of my life. And I've talked about it before that I think it was in a little bit of a relation to depression. So like, while I wasn't snorting fucking opiates at the dinner table, like I get what she means by some of it. Although it made me remember that at one point at North Dakota, and I had totally forgot about this even when I was telling the tell-all North Dakota story, is I had I had a thing of Vicodin for a big portion of my time at North Dakota. And so I had forgotten that because I was like, well, I've never really done pills. Like, I don't really ever I've never fucked with pills. That hasn't been my thing. And I was like, wait a minute. At North Dakota, I had that, because she says something in the show about like when you're all fucked up on that, like, or no, she's having a conversation with her sponsor, and he's like, you're high right now. Like, you're just talking shit. You don't even know what the fuck you're saying. And it just flashed back me to this one time where, I feel bad for then not including this in the tell-all story, because, I probably made that sound like I was the best person in the world and got screwed or whatever, even though I tried to be pretty realistic. But there was one time I remember where I was talking to the OC, and I don't know if I had smoked also before, but I knew I had taken a Vicodin or two before too, and we were having a conversation, and I was like pretty fucked up. Maybe he might have known, I don't know. But I can remember I was in the middle of a conversation, in the middle of a sentence, and I forgot what I had started the sentence with. And so then trying to figure out how to like end the sentence coherently. I'm sure I did a terrible fucking job of that. But I can remember like being fucked up, and I don't even know what we were talking about. Obviously, I didn't know what we were talking about at the fucking moment. And thinking, I'm getting to this end of the sentence, I'm saying so what was I fucking saying? You know, and like now, if that happened, I'd probably be like, hey, what was I just saying? You know, that's a bad look too. But it's just like weird little things like that. I was like, oh, fuck. I relate really, really well to that kind of thing. Like lying to your parents and lying to your mom and just the amount of like fronting and bullshit and acting that goes on in high school, and everyone's trying to make it seem like they're a certain way, and that kind of is why I really like the show. I'm excited for episode 2 or season 2 finale to come out. But yeah, it's like then there's the other character in it, Jules, who's, I guess she's trans in real life. She's trans in the show, and I had no fucking clue that she was trans. Like I guess as it goes on, like you end up knowing, so you see it in that light. But when the first 3 or 4 episodes that I watched, I didn't even know. And that was kind of like a mind fuck to me in a way, and made me kind of think about just like the trans stuff in general, where, you know, I know that gets like an incredible amount of attention nowadays. And, you know, there's the swimmer who's just killing it right now, which, you know, I don't think that's right specifically. I totally understand, or I don't understand, I mean, but I can understand like feeling like you don't belong and feeling like you're in the wrong situation. And I can what I meant to say is I can understand that for a small percentage of people, they do feel like they were born in the wrong body. And I could get on board with like that being a thing. And then there being then a third bathroom or a third division in sports type of thing, like an in-between, or a maybe not an in-between, but just there's male, female, and then like the other category. And I hope that I don't mean that insensitively at all, but just I'm thinking from whether it be the bathroom issue, whether it be sports, all of the problems that can be controversial and create arguments regarding the trans, non-binary type of community is like, at the end of the day, I just kind of want us all to get along. Ironic, I say that on the episode where I talk about war for fucking 45 minutes, but maybe that's actually right. But no, Jules she's an interesting character. Like, I relate to her in the sense of like just feeling misunderstood. And obviously not to the degree of that. But, you know, then there's who else? There's Fez. Fez is the drug dealer. I've sold a little bit of weed throughout my life, here or there. Never to his degree, but then also just like you almost see other people in certain characters too. So, man. All right, I'm going to stop talking about Euphoria. I think I'm going to end this one today. Appreciate you for listening. Appreciate your attention. Appreciate you. Check out the website. Buy some merch. Like I said, I'll put 100% of the profits to the Ukrainian fighters, freedom fighters. Let's get them a couple bullets. And, yeah. Until next time. Peace and much love. Holla.